What's going on, guys? 360 Digital Closing Bell here. We're live season 2 from an undisclosed location here in Denver, Colorado. As always, I am your humble correspondent, Michael Tanner, joined by the executive producer of the show, the purveyor of the show, and the director and publisher of the world's greatest website, oilandgas360.com, Stuart Turley. Stu, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we are busy.
We are busy today on this gorgeous Thursday, September 10th, 2020. It is cold here in Denver. And guess what, Stu? It smells like there are sports back. If you are a football fan, Texans, Chiefs tonight. Who you got, Stu?
What do you think? I got the Texicans. They should
With
be
the Texans, too. I got Deshaun Watson on a couple of my fantasy football teams. I'm in so many leagues this year, I had to get the same players on all my teams just so I could easily keep track of them. I do know your Dallas Stars, unfortunately, are playing tonight against the Las Vegas Black Knights or whatever they're called. Should have been the Avs, but we'll go ahead and let you win that. Guys, we have a great show for you lined up today. We have some crazy Colorado regulation stuff to cover. Sanchez Midstream has an update. This should be good to check into. Inventory numbers drop both on natural gas and crude oil inventory. And crude oil inventory. Stu's got some stuff. The international news does. Equity markets down. But first, guys, just subscribe. 360 Digital Closing Bell, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. The best way to stay up there on all of your energy market stuff. When we look at the overall markets today, sitting in the chair early on in the session, stocks were actually up. I think tech stocks specifically were up about 1.5%, about 15, 20 minutes into the trading session. Does not finish. Tech sell-off continues. As we know, we saw yesterday is what a lot of people would refer to as a dead cat bounce, maybe a little bit of a rise on an eventual fallback, but down again. All major indices down 1.75 percentage points or more. Quarter and a half, 1.25 for SPY. That's 59 points down, 33.39. Nasdaq was down a full 2 percentage points. That's about 200 points. Dow Jones rips about 400 points to the downside, about $1 or about 1.5 percentage points. Crude oil off of very terrible DOE inventory numbers, which we'll get into, drops 2.5 percentage points, 37.09. Stu flirting with $36. Didn't quite see it yet, but we're flirting with that number, which is not good. 12-month strip on natural gas or on crude oil stays above 40 for now. Fingers crossed. 40.97. That's a 1.75 percentage point drop on the downside. Natural gas, $2.31. That's 4% to the downside. 12-month strip for that, $3.15. That's 1.5 percentage point. So, we're talking red across the board. Guys, yikes. XOP, E&P securities contract down, 5.5 percentage points, 44.44. OIH does not do much better in oil field services, 111.69. That's 4.65 percentage points to the downside. Guys, just an unbelievable number. And we look in here at some of our stocks that were on the upside and downside. As I mentioned, 6.5 or 5.5 percentage points on the downside for equities. And that's what really is going to dominate. Matador Resources down 10 percentage points, $8.17. SM Energy, kind of just, between me and you, just waiting for their bankruptcy, $1.82, 13 percentage points. PDC Energy, they are 11. And PDC Energy, our biggest mover, down to $11.66 or 21.3 percentage points, guys, off the back of what we will cover, a new Colorado regulation that was approved by the COCG. Stu. So in terms of market cap, Stu, today, $426 million wiped off the market by one bill that we will cover. But first, we got to cover the upside, guys. Good numbers. There are some decent numbers on the upside. Gulfport Energy Corporation, 63 cents. That's about 6.5 percentage points on the upside. Next Decade Corporation, $2.13. That's 11.5 percentage points on the upside. Battalion Oil Corporation, $9.98. That's 13.8 percentage points on the upside. So some winning in terms of this really red market. But guys, just not good. I'm looking at this ticker list, Stu. All red down the board. It really makes me want to puke. Was there anything good on the international news desk? Anything good to talk about?
I'll tell you what there's entertainment. Yeah, you can't buy this kind of entertainment. First one, Rystad says that I'm not kidding. Okay, I'm not kidding. Rystad, giant tuna 1 discovery could save Turkey $2.1 billion. You can't buy that kind of headline if you wanted to.
No, so when I first read that headline, I thought they were switching to an all tuna diet until I realized, it's an oil discovery. How do you come up with that name? Imagine sitting in that round table in the Turkish National Oil Company. What are we going to call this one? Giant tuna.
Yeah, I don't know how that came around, but this is very critical because now the way you look at Turkey is right smack dab
Yep.
into it. And that comes right around into the big discovery that they had about a month ago in the Black Sea. Then Cyprus and the Chevron
Yep.
Noble is huge, right smack dab right into that area there. The other article that came up, and I really got kind of tickled at this one because Libya,
Mm.
Turkey is now coming into and being asked as a EMP provider to start drilling in Libya.
Ah.
Turkey is becoming a energy big boy over in that part of the world.
Well,
And
yeah, it's again, it's you mentioned it's part of the reason why Elliott Management's getting in on this Noble. Whether you agree with it or not, their belief is that the Mediterranean assets, along with recovering oil prices, make Noble really valuable. So I mean, you've been on this stuff for a long time.
oh, this and it's getting worse. I got some more sources coming up. One of the sources is I'm trying to verify it, but there is a summit going on with Turkey,
Oh,
with all of the players except Turkey. It's kind of like the last kid playing dodgeball. They're leaving Turkey on the
yeah.
sideline, so it's getting kind of ugly over there. It's
Oh,
all about
geez.
it's all about energy independence. They're tired of it, and we as the US cannot lose our energy dependence. Otherwise, we will be facing what the Mediterranean's facing right now.
Yeah, no kidding. And Stu, you can check out all of that on International News Desk, the world's greatest website, www.oilandgas360.com. On the U.S. shale side, yeah, a couple things. Crude oil inventories came out today and is really, really what's pushing crude oil down, as we mentioned, crude oil trading. Right now, I see $36, Stu, $36.98 for the front month contract. Woo-hoo! Not good. So now we're seeing a 36 handle for crude oil off the back of really bad inventory numbers. As the API was expecting a draw of inventories, we saw 2.03 million build. Unfortunately, 300,000 barrels being added onto the market. This is as some of this production is coming back online from Hurricane Laura. Refinery utilization down about 1.2 percentage points to 71.8%. So really terrible crude oil inventories number. Natural gas stocks increased about 70 billion cubic feet. Which is right along with the 5-year seasonal average. I would highly recommend going to our Oil and Gas 360 news desk and checking out all of our crude oil inventory, natural gas dashboards. Rig counts will be out tomorrow. That drops at 8 o'clock. If you're an Enverus subscriber, guess what? You get those data early. But for the rest of us who have to wait for the Baker Hughes data, we will have that for you on Monday morning. I thought the other thing, Stu, that was really funny that I saw, I love to poke fun at, we talk about good management, good numbers. Our favorite management team, the Sanchez Energy family, out of oil and gas officially. They sold all of their shares, personal shares of Sanchez Midstream Partners to Stone Peak for a very small undisclosed stake in Stone Peak. Basically, they flipped about 4.6 million shares for about $1 million. But get this, Stu, Stone Peak now owns 35% of Sanchez Midstream. They own the general partnership around it, and they also have close to $400 million of Sanchez Midstream preferred notes. To give you an idea, Stu, based on Q2 numbers, 19 times leverage. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Wow.
Big numbers. So
Okay.
maybe they should just go ahead and rebrand themselves Mesquite Midstream. That worked out well for one company. Um, uh,
Should we
the
hold a
other,
moment of silence?
exactly. The other story that we have to cover is the COGA Colorado regulation. Is if you followed the show, we've been talking about Senate Bill 181, which is really changing the way oil and gas is regulated in the state. Well, one of the things that happened today is the Colorado Oil and Gas Commission, the regulatory body here in Colorado, voted 4-5 in favor of increasing the setbacks on oil and gas drilling from what are called occupied structures from 500 feet, which is the current limit, 4 times all the way to 2,000 feet. Now, to kind of give you an idea of what this does, currently, if you do the math, only about 6% of Colorado production resides within 500 feet of of what were called occupied structures, or with Class A or Class B buildings. If you talk about future production, I think you can, in terms of total BOE, they think it's in the DJ, it's like 11%. Again, we do napkin math on this show, so this is all napkin math we're talking about here.
How about crayons?
That's the model of this show, not math on napkins, because
with crayons.
With crayons. That's exactly what. So just, take all these numbers. But, when you look at 2,000 feet, that number jumps to 33% of total current production here in the DJ, and about 45 of what they would talk about BOE. That's why PDC Energy, a huge DJ player, is down 21 percentage points. Holy smokes, Stu, if this passes, which it basically will, they have no problem to drill. The only lone voice is a former landman who's now a Colorado Oil and Gas Commissioner, Bill Gonzalez, formerly of Anadarko and formerly of Oxy. He's now the lone voice, said he wasn't sure the science adds up. Yeah, that's the understatement of the century. The science doesn't. Yeah, that's the understatement of the century. Bill Gonzalez, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I don't know how you get bigger than a Scooby at this particular moment with this kind of a decision. It's so short-sighted.
Yeah, and on the environmental advocacy side, I get it. I think there are some, I think Colorado's a little different than a place like Texas, where you can, I've been to the Midland Golf Course. There's a legit oil well in the middle of the hole. It's kind of sweet. Like, you don't have to in Colorado. You're not doing that in Colorado. You got to figure out a way to work around that type of stuff. And that's just the lay of the land. Do I think this goes a little overboard? Yeah, I think the 500 feet is fine. And if you actually look at what's going on, no one's really been affected. This is a liberal government. We have a liberal legislator. We have a liberal government. And I think this is an opportunity, as activists are seeing, to try to flip a state that is very reliant on oil and gas. And I think Jared Polis knows this. I think he fully understands this. And here's the quote from our friends over at the Colorado Oil and Gas Commission, Dan Haley. He had a great quote because it really just comes out and pretty much says it. The setback recommendation is completely arbitrary, not based on science, and is being made without any legitimate consideration of the impacts on working families across our state. Again, Dan Haley, president of the Colorado Gas Association. They don't like it. I'm not necessarily a fan. Yeah, Stu, giving him a big round clap. I mean, it's yikes. It's a double woof. And, we were following Senate Bill 181. There's now a lot of this, I go back and listen to some of our shows. I think we might have to spend a longer term podcast talking about this, Stu. I think this is bringing up some new information. You got any thoughts on this before we wrap up?
I'm getting airsick. The whole thing is, let's be good stewards of the planet. Let's get the lowest kilowatt per hour and the most energy we can to all of the poor people on the planet. Let's take care of.
It's too reasonable, Stu. It's too reasonable. It'll never work.
I'm sorry. We've got to take care of the planet, but yet we've got to get people out of that, and we cannot. Let's all do a group therapy hug, and
we're going to do a group therapy hug. We're all going to go listen to our Energy Expert Network interview with Alex Epstein, which is exactly what we should be talking about when it comes to energy independence. I don't think 2,000 setback rule is a thing.
No.
If we go green, if Colorado goes mini new Green Deal like California, Stu, I'm coming to your bunker that you have in a true undisclosed location, and I'm shacking up in one of the cabins next to you.
Oh, absolutely. The zombie apocalypse.
My power will not get shut off.
No, we can survive the zombie apocalypse.
I love it. Well, I don't think we missed anything, guys. So again, thank you for checking out the 360 Digital Closing Mode. We're going to go ahead and let you get back to work. As always, you can find everything on the world's greatest website, oilandgas360.com. We will see you guys tomorrow for the digital ticker and a hall pass.